What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So today we're just gonna jump right into it. This was our Group 3 Manufacturer Cup race around High Speed Ring, or what I like to call the Water Bear track. But anyways, if you guys read the title, you guys are probably wondering to yourself, okay, what is this exploit or cheating that you are talking about? And oh boy, do I have a race for you guys that you guys are gonna see right now. So heading to turn number 1, this big banked left corner, that resemblance of like a Talladega or Daytona in NASCAR. We get overtaken by the WRX as he gets a really good launch off the line. And as we head into exploit corner number 2, you guys are gonna see right here what the huffing and puffing was all about for this race. As you guys saw in color, broad daylight, the wall riding that was going to be occurring here on this race. Now the challenge for me was I wanted to finish this race without having to do the exploit, without having to do any wall riding, and that was actually going to be a lot more challenging than what I thought it was going to be, because the fact that people were wall riding and saving themselves about half a second to a second on lap time, it caused us to break a lot earlier than them, and due to that, sometimes we would accidentally get punted into the wall, and we would actually do some wall riding unintentionally ourselves as we get a really good run with the WRX and make our way around the Viper. So on to lap number 2, we head back into the second corner. You can see all the sparks flying from all the wall riders as we get hit from behind here from Andre Sav. And as we get into the replay here, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this was the issue that we were experiencing. So since everybody was wall riding in this race and we were avoiding doing that, again, we had to break about maybe 10-15 meters earlier than everybody else so we can make the corner and not touch that wall. And due to that, since the people are just going in with so much speed and so much momentum, we run the risk of getting hit from behind and either getting punted out of the way and losing the back end, or going straight into the wall and, like I said, unintentionally wall riding. So that's kind of going to be the challenge here for the next 12-13 laps around this race. So as we head out of the tunnel here, not the WRX, but the NSX up ahead had to serve a penalty, and lucky for us, we were able to get him right before the start of the final corner. We were able to get around him, get ourselves into P7 after starting off in P8, getting knocked down to P9, and making our way back up into P7. So 2 positions down in 2 laps. I will take it. So as we head back into turn number 1, we get a really great run as we utilize the slipstream of the Mercedes right ahead of us. And as we make our way down into turn number 1 here off the corner, we get hit a little bit by the Mercedes, but luckily we're able to utilize the WRX slipstream, and we're able to get around him now as we make our way up into P6, getting again bumped from behind, almost losing it. But luckily we're able to keep it straight and survive another lap of exploit corner number 2. But unfortunately, we can't say the same thing for the GTR up ahead, as another thing was starting to play here as we're going to ride around with this Chilean. As we go into turn number 3, you can see this Chilean here is going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder as he takes out 1 car for this race. And I want you to keep note about that Chilean, because he's going to come into play a lot in this race, as he already has taken out his first victim here. And notice I said first, as there's going to be a couple more that are going to be unfortunately destroyed by the Chilean of Shaper as the race progresses. So on to lap number 4 here, we make our way up into P number 4 as we're going to utilize the straight line speed of the Supra and utilize the slipstream of the WRX, go onto the outside, make the exact same move that we did on the Merc a couple laps prior. And before we get into turn number 2, hopefully we can brake as late as we can and make our way ahead of him. And we are able to do so. So we get tapped from behind from demonic speed, and we were able to now find ourselves in the podium as we make our way now into P number 3 on lap number 5. So onto this corner again, you can see that we get hit from behind, and unfortunately that's what I was saying, when we brake very early going to turn number 2, we're gonna get hit from behind from the people wall riding. And unfortunately that's what happened to us. We accidentally took too much speed because we got hit. We had to do the wall ride. But as we revisit our good old friend Shaper, the Chilean here, I'm gonna go into this left-hander here as he makes contact with the WRX and then does a little bit of a cheeky move here as he just pushes him into the wall. You can see that Bastian was not too pleased here as he flashed his lights in displeasement, and Shaper, fortunately, gets another victim there, as we now make our way up into the middle of the race here on lap number 7. So leading this pack of, I believe it was 3 cars right behind us, we were able to just stay ahead of these guys easily, since we were in one of the cars that had probably the best top end speed. It was basically hand in hand with the GTR and the Toyota. But as you can see, as we head into this corner, Shaper was able to get around us, as he was able to get ahead of the other driver. I think it was Demonic Speed ahead of him, and he was able to easily get in front of us, as he was able to utilize that wall going into turn number 2. And now we find ourselves back into P4, as we're gonna stay right behind Shaper here and just try to ride along with him as best as we can, and see if we can stay in the slipstream to keep up with these leaders up ahead, as P2 and P1 weren't too far up the road. And all it took was just basically 1 penalty for them to get, as it was very easy to get a penalty, especially heading to that final corner. Make contact with the wall in the final corner, it gives you a 1.5 second penalty. But not sure why it works on that corner but doesn't work on corner number 2. It's just a mess. But anyways, if we come out of the first corner, you can see the straight line speed that we have here is to get a really great run. But I didn't want to go for the overtake. I did give Shaper a bump here though, heading into the corner. And as we head into the corner, he rides the wall just a bit too rough, and he gets a 1.5 second penalty. And that's a 1.5 second penalty that I was actually not too surprised to see, to be quite honest. I was actually a little bit happy. It's just kind of a little bit of karma going on there, as we saw what he did earlier to a couple of drivers. So I wasn't feeling too bad about him getting that 1.5 second penalty, and that's going to benefit us a lot here as we now make our way back onto the podium. And we have Vegas Racer right behind us. So crossing the start finish line to make our way now onto lap number 9, with just 5-6 laps to go. We have a really good chance of trying to catch up to this 2 Brazilian, and at this point I was just hoping Vegas Racer was going to work with us, but unfortunately he had something else in mind, as he goes onto the inside onto turn number 1, makes contact with us just a tad bit, and he was able to get the overtake on us. And at this point I just wanted to work with him, so I just decided, alright, let's just work together, let's try to see if we can catch up to these Brazilians. I know he has pace, I know we have a very fast car on the straights. Maybe if we can work together, you know, we can find something magical here between our partnership, and we can probably catch up to these 2 Brazilians up ahead, and maybe, just maybe, find ourselves a win here, as we're sitting in a very good spot of 3rd and 4th here. And we're gonna see right now if we can make some, like I said, some magic happen here. So there's definitely sparks flying in the air due to all the wall riding, but yeah, can we have some magic? I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, as we come into the final corner now, we're just staying right behind the Honda, and that's kind of what we were just sitting at here. He was able to pull away during the corners, and we were able to regain all that position back on the straights. But leading our way now into the final corner on lap number 10, you can see that there is a slow car right ahead of us. And no, you are not seeing things. That is actually P2, the Brazilian of Daniel, in 2nd place, who had to serve a penalty. And now this changes everything, as me and the Honda were starting to gain on him tremendously, as he lost basically all his momentum coming out of the tunnel. We now give the bump to the Honda, as he's going to get into the slipstream of Daniel. And now it's going to be a 3-way battle here for P2. And we still have about 3 laps left, so it's going to get very interesting here as we make our way now into turn number 2. So onto the turn number 2, you can see that Daniel up ahead, unfortunately, is using the exploit, but the Honda Vegas unfortunately got a really bad corner of off of turn number 2, and he gives us a little bit of a wink there. It tells us to go to the left-hand side, and I'm not quite sure exactly why he did that, to be quite honest. I mean, he had the pace. We were just gonna help him out here and give him a bump, but for some reason he pulled over to the side, let us get ahead. Maybe he thought that we were quicker, but yeah, he decided to do that, and I appreciate that. But now we are up into P3, and we're gonna see here if we can try to run down this Brazilian up ahead of Daniel, and maybe, just maybe, get ourselves into P2. And or even better, maybe might get some penalty and we can find ourselves up into P1. But still a lot of racing left, as there was about 2 or 3 laps left as we now just kind of jump our way up into lap number 13. So I forgot to mention a little bit earlier in the race that there was a mandatory pit stop that you had to do on this race. You didn't have to change tires, you didn't have to add fuel. You literally just had to come into the pits and do a mandatory stop. So not sure why Polyphony decided to do it like that. If I was, you know, head of their race design, I would have done medium and hard compound tires with high fuel consumption and high tire degradation, and made both the tires required, as you know, they could have put in a little bit more strategy. But for some reason they decided, all right, you know what, we're just going to do a mandatory stop. You don't have to do anything else, just come into the pit, stop in your box, and then just pull right on out. But yeah, so we now make our way onto what is going to be our final lap. We all decide, all right, it's time to come into the pits. We're going to come into the pits and serve our mandatory pit stop. So as we make our way to the stop, we just pull right in and zoom in on this guy, just thinking, mate, what are you doing? You're just sitting here. We're not going to do anything to your car, not even service it. And that's all she wrote. So we just came in, stopped, had our guys look at us like we're crazy, and just pull right on out. So yeah, it's basically a 3-way battle now for P2. And this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So we're in the middle of a Honda slash Aston Martin sandwich, as we give the Honda the Honda NSX a bump from behind. And we're going to try to see if we can try to get around him on one of these corners. But as we head into turn number 2, we just get absolutely destroyed from behind by the Brazilian. As we jump into the replay, you can see that Aston Martin just decides to not even get on the brakes, just stays on the throttle heading to turn number 2, hits our rear, and lucky for us, we were able to just keep the car straight, utilize that banking to help keep us not from spinning, and yeah, somehow we were able to hold off our P3. As you're gonna see, Daniel's gonna be right behind us, and then all of a sudden there's gonna be a big shunt, and Daniel's not gonna be behind us, but it's gonna be the Chilean of Chaper. Now I'm gonna show you guys exactly what happened here as we make our way down into the tunnel. And as we make our way now off of the tunnel section right here, going into the final couple of corners. Luckily for us, again, since we didn't spin out, we were able to save the car. We're gonna come home in a interesting P3, but I was a bit frustrated because I thought we could have finished in P2. But we're just gonna come right down here, go onto the inside, and get ourselves our P3. Now I'm gonna go back to the replay here, and we're gonna ride along with Shaper. This was the incident that happened on the final lap, and unfortunately for the Chilean of Shaper, he just couldn't control himself for one final lap. He saw the opportunity, he took out Daniel heading into that corner, and he had to serve a 5.5 second penalty there, as instead of finishing in P5, actually I think it finishes up in about P7, P8 on this race, unfortunately for him. But yeah, that was basically it for this Manufacturer Cup race. Very, very interesting race. A lot of exploits going on, wall riding, as well as a lot of dirty driving going on at the same time. And somehow in the midst of it, we were able to come home with a P3 with actually probably our best points of the season so far, even though it's only 2 races in. Yeah, we were able to get ourselves some good points for the Toyota group. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this race, or what you guys thought about the video in general. And if you guys made it to the end of the video, I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Peace.